Hello everyone. Well, new lesson today, new subject, and that will be hopefully an easy subject to deal with. That's Maggie Robinson, the student who was in Caravaca and had the art retreat, and she was dressed as a medieval English lady with a dress on the scarf. I'm not sure if that's called a scarf under her chin, and a beautiful hat, and she looks fantastic on that dress. So let's see how to deal with that portrait where she's looking a little bit, she's looking up, she's turning her chin up, so we see a little bit of the nose here. See the nose, a bit of the nose, which is turned. There's a movement, upwards movement. Mouth and teeth. Obviously we don't see the chin because it's covered, but we have an axis of eyes, nose, mouth. They're all on that direction here, on that, let's say, 10-degree angle, as you can see here. And I'm sorry for the shine and the reflection of the sky here on the tablet, because I'm planning to do that here in nature. So there's about 10-degree angle. See, tear duct with tear duct, there's an angle there. That angle goes on the mouth and that goes on the lip as well. So it's about, and also the tilt of the head. Axis line is a bit tilted. That's a straight vertical line. That's a tilted line. It's about 5 to 7 degrees, or about 10, let's say. There. Okay, let's see how we can deal with that. And zoom out, and as you can see, all in nature here, and the cats which are fighting with each other. Okay, and let's go and start it. Take the tablet off, put the tablet down here so I can see Maggie, and start the axis as we spoke about. Axis line, the 10-degree angle is the of the head, and eyes, mouth and nose. Now let's get that soft sponge and have that angle here of, that's the eyes, nose, mouth, and the 10-degree angle that we spoke about here earlier. Here, that's the angle here, and head here, chin, which we said we cannot see because it's covered, hair, the edge of the hair. That's the edge of the hair here. We don't see the ears, so it's kind of easy in that sense, the portrait. The nose, which is kind of triangular shape because she's looking up. The mouth, but also keep in mind that she's smiling, so you have the edge of the mouth here, you have the edge of the mouth there, teeth, lower lip, chin, we have that triangular shape of the nose. Sorry about the noise, cat noise. They're growing like crazy and they're fighting with each other. Play fight. Okay. Now let's do that again. The other eye. So sponge first, or you can do that with your fingers. That's the other eye here. Let's try and do that drawing as quick as I've done those previous portraits that I was prepared for the exhibition there in Caravaca here, and doing live portraits. I've managed to do one in 25 minutes, 22 to 25 minutes. So let's see if that will be as quick as that. Maybe not, I guess not, because I'm also concentrated on speaking here. And you have hair, as you can hear, all the insects are present here, and you have that shadow of that side of the face, cheek, eye, eyebrow, eyebrow here, it's too much wind. I try and do it here, but I might have to go inside. It's too much wind here. Fresh, beautiful. Okay, let's go and see and commit with some lines now. Here is her right, our right, her left eye. Upper, the upper eyelid here, lower eyelid here, pupil, then you have eyebrow, there's no eye back there, but there are some lines which they define the end of the eye. Tear duct, hair, edge of the hair, and the face, rounded, a little bit rounded, and you have the chin, and there is a form or shape of the chin. We have the smile on her face, which is here. That's the muscle which defines the upper and lower lip, and that comes right down here to the chin, and this area, it's all in shadow. Then you have the cheekbone, and the face there, the end of the face here, and the cheek, the left cheek, her left cheek, which is there, and it comes right up here. The mouth, I need to define the upper lip, possibly have that sponge soften those dark shadows because I'm a little bit strong. And you have the smiley cheek here, chin, the roundness of her chin, hair, soft middle tone for the hair, That's the edge of her hair. This is the scarf. I'm calling it scarf, but I'm not sure how that would be actually in Middle Ages called, named. And then you have the fringe of the hair here, and her hat, very colorful hat. That's the, again, round here, the scarf, shaping all that. Then you have the middle tone. Middle tone here on the edge of the end of the chin, the end of the cheek, then the base of the nose, and a little triangular shape as the nose is looking up. Nostril, and a line for the nose, a middle tone for the cheek, and round it up this way, soften it up. Hair, eyebrow, at the same line as the other one, and the eyes. Let's take the eyes a little bit, that angle, that shape. First of all, line up the tear duct. Maybe I need to raise that. No, I need to lower this eye. I'm thinking of raising this eye up, but actually that's where it needs to be. It's pretty much the same length or height from the end of the nose. So I probably need to bring that down a little bit. First of all, define the tear duct. Eye socket. I think the eyes are a little bit close to each other, so let's move the eyes further out a little bit more. Yes, moving the eyes out. Further away, not out, further away. That doesn't sound good. Moving the eyes out. Further away. Eyebrow, hairline, nostril, the other side of the nostril, and that soft dark tonal value here. Have the mouth a little bit more rounded, shaped, in get that roundness of the mouth. And the end of the mouth is here under the nose, so a vertical line from the end of the mouth to end of the mouth here, under the nostril, vertical line. Then you have the edge of the mouth here, teeth, a little bit more with my sponge here. That will save my darks because they're quite sharp. Look at the tonal value here. and we had Maggie dressed like a medieval lady, as I said, and we were taking pictures right across the little town. It's a medieval town, and Maggie said she felt at home here on this medieval town. Dressed with a beautiful dress. Was a head turner, I must admit. Okay, let's carry on drawing Maggie here. Sorry for the noises here, but that's when you work outside. And those dark tonal values here, dark tonal values there, and the blonde hair. Darker tonal value. There is no edge here, so the mouth, the flesh becomes one with the veil or scarf, if you like. Lower lip, upper lip, let's define a little bit more this left eye here. Few lines to define the hair, where the hair starts or ends, if you like, depending which side you see in it. That's for the blonde hair. Now, there are two things we can do here. We can either darken the flesh tone and let the hair blondish, or darken slightly the hair and leave the flesh tone light. I think I'll do the first one. I will darken the flesh tone and leave the hair just to make a point that the hair is blonde. So it will probably work better if I darken the flesh tone. Which is here. And darken that a bit more. Darken that a bit more here. Nose, forehead, and with the stump, define a little bit more the lines, smiley lines, tear duct, eyebrow, move it down a little bit, or actually keeping the eyebrow up there, because it gives her a beautiful expression of smiling. And you have the eye socket here, and the end of the eye socket is right up there. So the tear duct here goes to the end of the eye socket. So if I raise the eye tear duct will be right there. Eye socket here, up here, eyebrow, dark, slightly darker here on the hair. So I can darken the flesh tone here, and then on this side I will darken the hair and keep the flesh tone lighter. Now keep an eye on that. So darker flesh tone here on the left hand side, and lighter here, and then darken the hair. So here, again, I will darken the flesh tone, keep the hair more blondish. And on this side, I will darken the hair and keep the flesh tone light, as light as possible. Using my fingers here to darken the flesh tone. A general darker tonal value here. Bit of darks. Darker tonal value. Use that for a cheek. Also darken or create that roundness of the cheek. Create that smiley face here. Mouth. And the end of the mouth here. And the chin. I probably need to define the end of the chin here, which is there. And then get that darkness right up to the chin. So this is where that's where the face ends up here, and then creates that chin, and that would be dark right up here. So the flesh tone is that chin slightly lighter than what I've done. That's the muscle of the upper and lower lip, this area here. We have that lighter tonal value here on the cheek, and we said we'll darken the hairline here. And the hair itself, although it's blonde, we can darken it here and keep it light up there. Okay, and I think we need to fix up the nose because it's gone a little bit wonky. What has gone wonky? It's here, the bone structure. It's gone too much inwards. Need to keep it straight. And define this bone structure of the nose here, although it's not as dark, but I wanted to define it just to make sure that we are, and I am doing it right. Nostril here, more rounded. So there. What happened with this eye? It's a bit small, so I better lower it a little bit more. Lower the end of the eye and the eye socket. There. That's a bit better. Now, she doesn't look like she's smiling a lot on me because I've lowered that. You see that? Creates kind of a, not a real smile, but kind of discomfort. So I think I've got to raise that edge here. And bring that smile, so raise the nose, raise the lip, and probably that will be more smiley. Not really. Let's see where the problem is here. Lower that, lower the lower lip, and I think I've got to increase the chin, because when people smile, the face becomes longer, because you open your teeth and you're creating that the muscles of the mouth, they enlarge themselves, so it becomes longer. They elongate, so it looks longer. The face becomes longer when you smile. Okay, let's have a little break and I'll come back. Okay, welcome back after the break. Let's get that eye socket right. It's a bit further out, higher. The brow here, the eyebrow. Get that line in between separated. So the eyebrows are a little bit further out. Then you have hair, the blondish hair. The eyebrow coming that way, showing the bone structure of the skull. Then you have the smiley lines. Cheekbone. And then you have the muscle here of the mouth, where which create that smiley face here. Then that comes round that way. It's a soft, light area which creates the jaw line. That line is also right there. Creates that end of the face here. And let's get some charcoal here on the sandpaper, and I can take that now with my brush and then create that soft line here, which is the veil or the scarf, if you like. It's not doing much, as you can see. A few lines here and there, but it creates a softer texture, because don't forget, that's a very, very soft veil. So create a soft texture, and you have the hair coming down. The hair appears here under the veil. I like that texture. It's a bit harsh though, but that creates the hair. And then the neck, a vertical line from the end of the mouth. Here you have the neck, which goes way darker. Okay, I've gone harsh there, but bear with me, because we're going to soften that dark. And then you have the hair, which comes down that way. Get some dark from my sandpaper here. Then you have the veil. Then we have the veil, and coming back to cheekbone. Cheekbone, chin here, now the nose, which I am now softening it. Softening this one here, the eye. Quite dark, lose the pupil, because you cannot see the pupil there. But I can come back and do that tear duct. pupil, tear duct here, eyebrow, eye socket, here, and you have the cheekbone here, and her beautiful smile here. Some sandpaper to grind here. That gives more of a smile. Reinforce that smile here on the cheek. And remember we said darker flesh tone and leave the blondish hair shine through. Some hair here. Darker hair right at the top and lower, more blondish at the bottom. And the blonde hair here, which moves out. There. Blonde hair, which is lighter. The veil here, softer line. Highlight of the veil here. There. Have the hat here. And teeth. Let's highlight the teeth. She's got full, beautiful teeth, long here. Let's get those lighter. And as it moves towards the end of the mouth, they get darker and darker and darker. There. And let's do that little edge of the teeth here. Do not emphasize the line in between teeth. Make it as soft as you can. You need to emphasize that. The line, the separation between teeth. It's a trap. You keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on that, because otherwise, teeth appears to be very dark. And the cheekbone. And a little bit wider on this side, so it creates more of a smile. Some dark line here. And the bag under the eye, which is almost not there, but we need to emphasize the end of it, the edge. Eye socket. And the eyebrow. makes it look smilier. And let's work on the mouth a little bit more. Darkness of the teeth. It's not the teeth, it's the mouth, but it gives a little bit of a shade. Somewhere here is the muscle of the lips, upper lip and lower lip. Cheekbone. As we said earlier on, a little bit darker on the flesh tone. There. And leave the blonde hair, as we said, lighter here on this side. And the veil. Sharper edge where it creates a separation between the flesh tone, the skin and the hair. And a little bit darker here on the forehead. Some unification of darks here, which is the muscle of the upper lip and the mouth itself. Softer those edges, those lines. As I mentioned on your drawings, softer edges of the softer lines, softer edges. Here you have the top of the nose, tip of the nose. And that line here, it's also, that area here is also slightly darker. That edge that I had earlier on, just mix it up with the flesh tone. And all it gets unified that way. The darks basically are getting unified. Here you have the background. You can play around with this, with the notion of hair and background blended together. Hair. Take some darks here, the sandpaper. Hat. Okay, now with some putty rubber, let's get those highlights out, and then we should be okay, should be done. Eye socket, a bit lighter. Flesh tone there. This area be lighter a little bit here, but then darker down here, as we said. I will darken the flesh tone here and leave the hair light. But here, just wanted to emphasize that structure, the bone structure, or the bone above the eye socket. Tear duct. See? See? And we can go a little bit lighter here on the top of the filter. Nose, highlight on the nose here. Soften that impact there. Eye socket, a bit lighter. I think I've gone too light on that. Bring that back, a little bit less light on that. There, and that will shape the bag under the eye. Now soften that light, as I said, with my hand. That's not possible, so I'm using the brush here because they've gone too dark, the fingers. Bone structure of the nose. Highlight here. Highlight of the nostril. There you have it. Highlight of the nostril. There's a little bit less of that dark line. The veil here would just shape the face. Some highlights of the light blondish hair. Okay. And drop that hair here and create a, just drop the hat a little bit lower here. There, that defines more of her head. Sharper charcoal. Sharpen the charcoal here. Get a little bit of background noise here. Except the noise we have at the top of the tree. In here the veil goes all to the left hand side, and that separates the background, sorry, not separates, actually blends the background with the flesh tone. Eyebrow there, lift it up. Blend the flesh tone here with the hair. Okay, and how about a darker tonal value of the background here, softy. Blends up the hair with the background, softer touch, and it softens the face as well, which is good. I'll give it a spray general spray to the face. A bit of spray the face, because I'm planning to take some darks out. Plan to take some darks out, but the spray will hold most of it. So yes, I'm using spray, but on the other hand, as I said, I want to use a strong brush, a strong putty rubber. But before I do that, clean the putty rubber right here. Let that spray dry. That's not the putty rubber, actually. It's a strong pencil rubber. And I'm trying to unify some darks here, get them less dark and a bit lighter on other parts. So work on the light here, or on the hair, get the veil, blend with the hair here, use that rubber down here, which will soften the flesh tone and the veil. A little bit lighter here. Cheekbone. That will lighten up also here, where the forehead and the hair blend and you don't see the end of one or the other, they just blend together. Get that cheekbone a bit more rounded, blend it up. And raise up the lip a little bit more. The lower lip, as you can see. And a little bit, blend all those darks together. Okay, I think I need to drop that a little bit more here, under the lower lip. Bit of a darker tonal value on the teeth, but not the front teeth. You can darken the side where the lip ends, but not the front teeth. And lighter tonal value here on the muscle of the upper lip. Get a little bit lighter flesh tone here. There. It was a bit dark earlier on. And lighter neck, because it's gone a little bit too dark. There we are. See, that's after the spray. That's why it's so strong and so difficult to get rid of the darks. Okay. And maybe bring the veil a little bit more to the left because it's going to be wide on this side. Okay, I think it's done. Few highlights, not really. I can soften the eyes here as well because they're too sharp. Soften the eyes, those lines of the eye. Just go over it. Okay, it's closer to Maggie. Let's sign and see you on the next one. Date. Date is soften that a little bit more. Get those lines softer, softy, because those highlights are quite light, yeah, quite bright. Softer highlights. Okay, see you on the next one.